Are you feeling stuck despite, succeeding or despite things actually going well in your life right now? Do you feel like you're repeating the same patterns over and over and facing the same challenges over again? I think it might be time for a change. In this video, we're going to explore how stepping out of your comfort zone can lead to incredible personal development in your life. Recently I moved with my family across the world to a brand new city. And quite honestly, it's been daunting figuring out where to buy things in the local grocery store, to how does the public transport work out. It's daunting, it's frustrating, and quite honestly it can be sincerely tiring. But in it all, there's a profound truth and something that I've learned that I think can help you. It's the power of a new beginning. Some of the challenges that I've faced in this change is actually learning a new language. I speak three languages, but now we're living in a city where we don't speak the language, or at least I don't. Luckily, my wife does. But it's difficult to learn. And you know what? I think what I can do is I can order a coffee, and that's a win. But part of the problem is where there's a difficulty in understanding one another. And while there's a bit of English where we are, it's daunting to think, hey, I'm going to approach this stranger and then just start speaking to them in English because that doesn't quite show respect. But I can't speak in their language. And so easy to rather just pull back and not be courageous, just to pull back and stay in a comfort zone and go, you know what, I'll just figure it out. Problem with that is it's so easy to isolate, and I'm never going to grow if I don't take the risk of speaking a language that I don't quite understand. And even that's just small words and small sentences. Another one is building new routines. And honestly, this has been a huge difficulty for me. Where when we were living in the city we came from, my routines were dialed in, my structure was dialed in. All of a sudden, in this new city, it's been so amazing. I've been learning so much. But the sun goes down way later than where it did from where I was. And it's thrown my routines completely out the window because everything is new. And I'm actually struggling because I have to get back to or find new routines. And even doing simple things like getting the kind of yogurt that you like, or for us, a type of cream, fat-free cottage cheese that we like. You just don't get it here. So we have to think and figure out alternatives. Now it's a small problem, but if you use that amplified over a couple of days or over a couple of choices, it really starts to it really starts to get really difficult. And you start having to celebrate small and little wins like that just to feel any sense of progress. So, stepping out and doing something new, putting yourself in a new environment or starting a new hobby or becoming a beginner is daunting. It is challenging because you feel like you are, this small. You feel like you are ill equipped, like you can't do it, like it's so difficult to get moving. But I want to share with you just a few keys that I've learned in starting over, in beginning something new and stepping out. Number one is to embrace being a beginner. Stepping out into a new environment is such a huge catalyst for growth. Why? Because you have to learn everything over again. You're not just doing what you've done because it's a habit, because your environment has changed. And so you don't just have the same old roots or the same old thinking patterns. Everything is different around you. So you're forced to make new connections. Your brain makes new connections. So you learn to grow and you learn to adapt. Now, it might not be learning, like being in a new environment, like a new city, like I am. It could just be starting a new hobby or learning a new skill. You put yourself in the position of a learner, which forces your mind to think up new ideas, new solutions, and create new patterns for yourself. And yes, every beginner wants to quit. But if you just keep pushing through and persevering, you're actually going to find yourself growing in new and interesting ways. Number two is to celebrate small wins. It's so easy to overlook the small things that you're accomplishing as you're learning a new skill or you're moving to a new city, or that you are putting yourself in a brand new environment or around new friends. It can be so overwhelming and so easy to overlook those small victories. But I find if you can celebrate the small victories, it actually gives you a sense of progress. And what do we all love when we're beginners? We love progress. I'll tell you a little story like, oh man, it's so bad. When the first week that we were here, it felt like everything was like, yeah, we figured out the transport. Yeah, we figured out, where the grocery store is. We figured out that we could follow Google Maps and it would lead us to where wanted to go. But I needed to get a new SIM card for my phone. And where I'm living, like you can only get a temporary one. And you got, I haven't changed my SIM card or my number in like 20 years. And so, I bought the SIM card package from the store, figured out the right one. Okay, great. Brought it home, uh, managed to change the SIM card, which, yeah, that's another win. But in all of that, I got so stressed because it actually took me like 45 minutes to an hour just to put a new number in my phone. Now, I know that sounds crazy. We're living in an age where why on earth would it take so long? But everything I was reading and everything I was looking at was in another language. And so I had to translate that and feed back and why is it not working and when's it going to come through? All of those things. And you know what? It was stressing me out. But rather than letting it stress me out, I reframed it in a way of like, yeah, that's a win. We're on the mobile network. I'll take the win. See each small win as a step towards growth. Number 3 is step out of your comfort zone. Comfort zones are great. Comfort zones are comfortable. Comfort zones are familiar. But the problem with comfort zones is that comfort zones keep you small. They keep you from experiencing new things. In fact, your world gets smaller the more you stay in your comfort zone. All of your growth, all of the things that you want in life are actually on the other side of a comfort zone, like making friends. Friends, it's comfortable not to go and introduce yourself because the risk of rejection is low if you don't have to go. But you know what? If you do step out and you do meet some people, maybe you get rejected, but more times than not, you're probably going to make a new friend. You're going to find a life partner. You're going to find something in your life, a new opportunity, but it all exists on the outside of your comfort zone. And so you've just got to embrace it. You've got to realize that I'm going to be uncomfortable for a season, but in that discomfort, good things are going to come because you're going to realize that your comfort zone actually grows to meet your new environment. Number 4 is be intentional about change. It's so easy. Most people don't like change. Most people want things to stay exactly the same. But if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. I want to encourage you to step out and to be intentional about change, intentional about doing things in your life that scare you, that make you uncomfortable, because that's where you're going to find growth. That's where you're going to find great things. Yes, it's on the other outside of your comfort zone, but you have to be intentional about it. What is the vision for your life? What are things that you want to do? What are experiences that you want to have? What decisions and actions can you take today in order to embrace a life of change? Change is coming whether you like it or not. I'd rather be on the front end of change rather than being dragged through change. And I'll encourage you to be intentional about it. Number 5 is to learn from failure. Let's be honest, failure is an inevitable part of life. It's an inevitable part of growth. The thing with failure is that we mustn't allow it to mean that we're a failure. Failure is a lesson. It teaches us something. There's something valuable inside of failure that can help you and I to grow. Failure shows us where we still need to grow. Failure is actually something that we should celebrate and saying, well, as Thomas Edison has said, I've just found another way not to make the incandescent light bulb. And so you just find another way not to do it. I know it's difficult. And actually, I'm walking through that right now in my own life, going, flip, this isn't working out the way I expected it to. I failed in this attempt. And it takes courage to go again, to iterate again, to have another go again. But if you let failure keep you from trying, you're always going to stay in a small life. You're always going to stay in a place called the comfort zone. But when you step out, the risk of failure is big, but that's how you grow. That's how you learn. So you've actually got to become okay with failure. Failure is not fatal. Failure is a part of the process of growth. So fail fast, fail often, because the more times we can fail, the faster we find our way to a place of success. In fact, I think in today's life, the speed of experimentation needs to be high because things are changing so quickly. So I think, recalibrate our mindset around failure and go, no, we're going to fail. We're going to fail often. But in that failure, it can inform future decisions and we can actually grow from it. So now it's your turn. Identify some places in your life where you can be a beginner, whether it's a new skill, whether it's a new circle of relationships, whether it's a new opportunity, or even a new city. Adopt a new habit and take that step today. Remember that growth happens on the outside of your comfort zone. Embrace it, push through. Something great is going to happen on the other side of that. And don't believe the lie that it's too late or you too old to start something new. You can be a beginner, and that getting yourself into that space and into that environment is actually going to awaken you to the new possibilities. It's going to help you to transform, to grow, to learn new things about yourself that you've never known before. Let me know what it is that you are starting new. Where are you going to be a beginner? What habit are you finally going to embrace? Or what opportunity are you finally going to step into? If this video has been at all helpful to you, why don't you watch the next video that YouTube is recommending that you watch? I'm so grateful and I hope that this has added great value to you. Take care.